Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. Today I'm sharing a card I made using some new products from Honeybee Stamp's latest Spooktacular release. I have their Lovely Layers Mum die set. I'll be using the Thinking of You sentiment from the Fall Swags stamp and coordinating die set. I have the Layering Vintage Labels die set, one of their new stencils called Petal Patterns, and I'll also be using the beautiful Autumn Pearl stickers. I'll start off by using the stencil. I have my mini stencil mat from Waffle Flower, and I'm using the Sparkling Berry ink color from Catherine Pooler. And I'll be doing my stenciling on some craft cardstock. I'm trying to do an ombre effect with the darker color in the lower left-hand corner and gradually getting lighter into the upper right-hand corner. And I'll just lift up the stencil to see if there's any area where I need to add more ink. Now I'll use the second largest die from the Layering Vintage Label set to cut out the very center, but I'm also keeping that outside piece. We'll put some ATG tape on the very outside edge and also some liquid adhesive along the very inside edge. And I'll adhere this piece onto some burgundy cardstock, put some ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base. And this is an American Standard A2 size card, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. Now for the piece that I did cut out, I will be popping it up using some foam strips from Honeybee Stamps. This is some of my favorite dimension. It's nice and thin and they're easy to cut. So once I have good coverage on the back, I'll remove the release paper and add that piece right inside that cutout area. Since it does have the foam dimension on the back side, you can see just that peak of the burgundy cardstock underneath the label die cut. I'll set that piece aside and start working on the Lovely Layers Mum. For my card, I'll only be using the large blossom, but the set also includes one of the buds that's just starting to open. There are 8 different layers for the large blossom. I selected 3 shades of burgundy cardstock. The colors get gradually lighter as they work their way to the center of the flower. I do want to add a little bit of ink to the very edge of all of the petals. I'm using the Merlot ink color from Catherine Pooler. I think inking up the edges adds a little more dimension to the look of the flower. So there are all the pieces all inked up and ready to go. Now to assemble them, I'll use Honeybee Stamp's Precision Tip Glue, and I'm only adding glue in the very center. I'm curling up the petals with my finger just to add that little extra look of dimension. I find the easiest way to line up all of those layers is to match up some of the petals. The petals that don't have the etched detail are the ones that will be covered up. So once you're all finished, all of those petals should have that beautiful etched detail. So I have just 3 more pieces for the center. I love all the beautiful, lovely layer floral sets that Honeybee Stamps has. The tulips and the sunflowers are still some of my favorites, but I do love this beautiful mum. It's perfect for fall that's right around the corner. So there is my flower all assembled, and I'll be adding it to the lower left-hand corner. I've also cut out 3 of the leaves, and I put some foam dimension on just the very outside tip of the leaf. I'll add liquid adhesive to the lower portion. Put 2 of the leaves above the flower on the left side and 1 in the lower right-hand corner. Then for the main blossom, I'll also pop it up using some thin foam dimension. And I'll add that dimension just in the very center of the blossom. So remove the release paper and adhere my flower in the lower left-hand corner. Then for a little extra detail, I'll splatter some metallic ink all over the card. I've had this watercolor set for years and years, and I feel like it never seems to go down, and I use it all the time. I love the different ranges of golds, and the one all the way on the left is more of a silver color. I'll set that aside and start working on the sentiment. I'm stamping it on some more craft cardstock. Decided to go with Thinking of You, and I will use the coordinating honeycut die to cut out the sentiment. I pulled out Honeybee Stamp's Bitty Buzz Cutter die cutting machine. It's perfect for those smaller dies. It's also great for traveling if you do craft retreats. So there it is, all cut out. I love that Honeybee Stamps offers the coordinating dies for their images and also their sentiments. Now using the leftover ink that's on my brush, I'm adding just that little bit to the sentiment. I also cut out a second outline piece from some burgundy cardstock, and I'll glue those two pieces together so there's a drop shadow of the burgundy color underneath the sentiment. And I'll adhere that above the flower on the right side. Since the very right hand side of the sentiment is going off of that popped up label die cut, I will add just a small piece of foam dimension, then use liquid adhesive for the left side. Then for a final finishing touch, I'll use some of the autumn pearls. The burgundy pearls match perfectly with the burgundy cardstock I use for the flower. Put a couple of them around the sentiment and a few around the lovely floral image. So there is my finished card, and I did make two using this design. I always look forward to the new lovely layer floral die sets, and the new mum is absolutely gorgeous. If you are interested in any of the products I use in this video, I do have links provided in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.